Welcome back to another edition of Iron Rage, the show where John Romano and I release our pent-up frustrations with life. And guess what? This is our second edition for this week, which means it's a very special show. It's actually a show, John, that I didn't really want to do because I was kind of done talking with Muscular Development about them and Sean Ray and Peter McGough. And I think we kind of got it out of our systems. But, you know, I saw something online that kind of bothered me. What's his name? Dan Solomon and another industry imbecile who won't be named wrote something that they felt that I should give Peter an apology, even though Peter was off base in what he was doing. And you know, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I think it was rubbing everyone here at RXMuscle the wrong way, including Sid. And we started to go through some footage online about what happened exactly, because you know, not only were we filming at the Arnold Classic this episode of where I had to interrupt Sean Ray because Sean Ray just stole Ahmad Ashkenani away from me without even asking if he could, in the most rudest sense that I've ever seen. But a lot of people didn't know what happened because Sean played it off as though he didn't do anything. Oh, I didn't do anything. Dave just lost his mind and came over here. Well, MD filmed, and they wanted to put up the same video from their perspective, except there was a smoking gun, and his name is Kit Sanderson. And Johnny, roll the video, and then I want John's impression of what we are watching.
Who's got the light? All right, you ready? Yeah, I hope you got that on film.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2.
Sean right here with the champion of the 212 Arnold Classic, Ahmed Ashkenani. That's a name you better get ready to get used to. Our champion a year ago out in Australia comes here to Columbus, Ohio, and takes the victory. Not only did you win, Tadayami.
Hold on, wait a second. We were supposed to interview Ahmad Ashkenani. What happened?
All right, so, I mean, as you can see, before I come over there, okay, Sean had stolen Ashkenani away from me, and if you look, Kit goes right into the camera and says, I want to quote him on this. He said, I hope you got that on film. Meaning, he hopes that the MD videographer filmed Sean stealing Ashkenani away from us and bringing him over to the MD headquarters there, or the little setup that they had over there. If that is not the smoking gun on this whole episode of who's telling the truth, I don't know what is.
If that's not the face of the party to a conspiracy, nothing is. And you know, I can just picture this being the brainchild of Bleckman back there, you know, strategizing with his crew. You know, yeah, let's go over there and steal Ashkenazi and you know, get Sean, he'll do it. You know, and of course Sean will do it. But you know what? If he was really, Sean's demeanor in that whole thing was very telling, because he was like totally calm about it. If you had really assaulted him, you know, affronted him and stolen his interview, right, Sean would have been, I think, visibly a lot more upset,
of course,
than he was, you know, the way he responded to you. He knew he was party to a scam, is what it came down to. Bleckman hatched this in his square head, and he, you know, put it out there that Sean was gonna, you know, do that. We're gonna get it on film, and you know, Kit is like a 12-year-old, so he's sitting there. Oh yeah, we gotta get that on film. You know, make sure you get that on film, and that's just, you know, his part of the conspiracy. So, you know, it's just bad behavior, and like a couple of people have told me, you know, written to me recently online. These are the last gasps of a drowning man, and that's exactly what's happened here. MD is going down, and they're doing all kinds of ludicrous, crazy things to try to flail their way to the top of the waterline, and it's not going to work.
And actually, the one thing that I keep forgetting to mention in all these shows we've been doing about it is that Sean actually had the audacity to say to me, I'm going to tell Arnold on you. I'm going to show Arnold the footage. Well, guess what, Sean? How about we send Arnold the footage and he can see what really happened, which was that you stole him away. Not only that, you probably have the footage somewhere on film, which will never be released now because then that will validate what we're saying. But Kit already spilled the beans completely about what happened. So go tell Arnold. You know, I had a judge, John, text me. A guy who was backstage during that whole episode, higher up. He didn't tell me who he was, but he texted me and said that, Dave, I want to let you know that, and he didn't mention who, I'm sure it was Sean Ray, try to report us to the Arnold people and have our press passes revoked for the rest of the weekend, that we did this terrible thing. And no one knew what went on. This guy actually was there witnessing it, and he went up to the Arnold people and told them exactly what happened because he saw it. Not because he's a fan of ours, just because he saw what happened. And at that point, they just dismissed the whole thing. They realized it was another, a scam, so to speak.
Another one of Bleckman's shenanigans.
Yeah. You think Bleckman put Sean Ray up to this? Because I heard that Bleckman was behind it. A couple people.
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is textbook Bleckman.
Yeah.
Textbook.
Yeah.
This is textbook Steve Bleckman.
Yeah.
Steal them from the interview and get it on film. So and then the only wild card in the whole thing is McGough. I was the wild card. They didn't think that I was going to respond to what Sean Ray did. That's the problem. Right. They figured they would just get it. We'd be like standing there with our hands open. Like what are we going to do? Right. Once I reacted, that screwed up the whole assassination plot, so to speak. Right. They never anticipated that you would have gone in there and stolen him back.
No, because I don't play by the rules. That's why, John.
Exactly.
I make my own rules.
But this was definitely a Bleckman, charade. So, chalk it up to the last gasps of a dying man, of a dying company.
Yeah, like I said, Dan Solomon wrote this thing about because he's good friends with Peter McGough, and he was like upset, and he thinks I should apologize. And I personally think that he should apologize to me because it wasn't my fault that he got sucked into Sean Ray's web of deceit. He didn't even know what was going on.
Blackman's web of deceit.
Well, no, McGough did. I think McGough was out of the loop on this whole thing. They probably plotted this whole thing, and Peter never heard a word of it. And then when he saw me come over, all he did was he thought he took it out of context, and he just reacted. Now, whether he was drinking or not, it remains to be seen. I don't know. He wasn't acting rational, so that's why.
Was not acting rationally at all. And, preface this whole thing, Dave, by the fact that this has never been an ad hominem attack against Peter. We have done nothing but praise who he is, what he stands for, what he's done, the fact that he was Weider's right-hand man, the most senior journalist, the most respected. We have never, ever, ever disagreed or poked holes in any of that. We are just reporting on his aberrant, irrational behavior in the heat of the moment of an incident that happened at the Arnold, which was contrived and perpetrated by his boss.
Yep. Well, as Wayne Dyer, one of my great idols and mentors, said once, sometimes it's better to be kind than to be right. So, you know what, Peter? If I did offend you in any way whatsoever, I do apologize because that was not my intent. Really, the person who should be being skewered right now is Sean Ray. And probably the court jester of the whole episode is Kit Sanderson, who blew the cover on the whole operation. See, Bleckman had Bleckman's got some smart people working there. Sean Ray's a smart dude. Ron Harris is a smart dude. McGough's a smart dude. The problem is when the videographer quit on them and they had to pull Kit Sanderson in there, he was like the one weak link, mentally at least. And I think that what happened was when the plot went down, he wasn't smart enough to keep his mouth shut until after it was all said and done. And that's really how they blew the cover on the whole operation.
He thought it would be cool to say, did you get that on tape? And it ended up blowing the whole thing because that just let the cat out of the bag.
And then of course, the imbecile that won't be named, who put out a video saying that we should lose our press passes to all the shows this year. First of all, we only go to 2 shows, the Arnold and the Olympia. Secondly, we're going to lose our press passes because someone perpetrated a plot against us at the show? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. And the imbecile that will remain nameless is famous for taking the most ass-kissing, middle-of-the-road stance on just about everything. So he wants to sit around, make s'mores around the campfire, make s'mores, and sing "Kumbaya," and that's that's not going to happen here. There's bad blood, and there's issues that are going on right now that are not going to be pushed down with a group hug. So he needs to pull his liberal ass out of this whole thing and leave the industry alone and stop trying to make his name for himself as the imbecile who will remain nameless. Contradiction of terms.
And
We're
on
never
that
going
note,
to say, hey, you're just going to be a big fat imbecile.
And on that note, how do we say more? The bottom line is that, once again, Johnny, play that one more time because I want our viewers to one more time. So now that they have a full flavor of what's going on, I want you to see how the deceit was done. And I'm going to talk you through it while I see it.
Who's got the light?
All right, you ready?
Yeah, I hope you got that on film.
See, he's asking because they had just stolen Ashkenani from us, so they wanted to get it on film.
All right, here we go.
So now they think they've beaten us. They're going to do the interview and everything's
So I'm right here
cool.
with the champion of the 212 Arnold Classic.
But then the unexpected happens.
Ashkenani. That's a name you better get ready to get used to. Our champion a year ago.
Johnny and I come with the camera.
Here to Columbus, Ohio, and takes the victory. Not only did you win the Tadayami.
Hold on, wait a second. We were supposed to interview. What happened?
And Sean didn't know how to respond at that point. You're right, he got caught with his pants down there, or he would have been pissed off as hell, but he knew that I caught him and I was calling him out on it. So now he had to try to pull rank. So he tried to pull I'm going to tell Arnold on you. I'm going to show him this footage. Well, go ahead, show him all your footage. And let's see what Arnold says about it. All right, this was John, a little brief Friday rendition of Iron Rage, just to get a little extra off our plate so that this weekend we could have a nice, peaceful weekend.
Yep, sounds good to me. It was good to do.
And George, I want to just bring up something about George Farah. George Farah, I had talked to him a couple days ago, and he had told me not to say anything about his illness. I did wish him, people should say prayers to him at the Arnold Classic, but Bob Ciccarello must have talked to him and gone online and announced that he has stage 4 colorectal cancer, and he's on chemotherapy right now, and he's fighting it and battling it. And I want to just, as much as we rib him and we all play back and forth against each other, I care about him. I consider him a friend, and we don't want to see any of our Iron brothers in pain or discomfort or sick. So I think everyone out there should say a prayer for George tonight, and let's give him the energy he needs to overcome this illness.
Good idea.
All right, so that's going to take us to the end of this episode, at least, of Iron Rage. I'm Dave Palumbo with John Romano. We'll see you next time.